I think I see 6 o'clock. Call the meeting to order. The motion for the minutes, December 12th and 19th, and warrants 13, 13P, and CC2.
And CF4.
And CF4, the cemetery.
I'll move that we approve the minutes of the 12th and 19th of December and bills 13, 13P, CC2, and CF4.
Second?
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Visitors, Harold, you here for a reason?
Yes. I have the annual reports for rescue for each one of you, so make sure that you have one. And I represent the town.
Thank you very much.
And, would you put this in Steve's box, Lori?
Sure.
Please. And there'll be more left on the town clerk's office, and if you know somebody.
Just going the other way since I already
Please
have
get
it.
that from me.
Good. Great. That's it? All right. Moving right along.
Thanks, Harold.
Highway report. Lee? Okay, he's not here.
Lee?
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 Okay. Renault gravel pit. Any updates there?
No news. I actually didn't see the supplemental information. I apologize I didn't get in here this afternoon. What was that? Anybody look at that?
Yeah, we did.
More just preparation for the Act 250, a spread on the sound and blasting sound study.
So no, there was no date buried in there.
No, not
The
that I saw.
numbers in there were the same numbers they got the day we were over there, when you couldn't hear anything. It was well below.
Good.
No change. I think it's the same numbers. I mean, it's identical.
Okay. Correspondence for information. Anybody have anything there they would like to speak on? Talk about? All right. Moving right along. Correspondence for discussion and/or action. The resolution of application appropriation from VLCT. They just wanted us to look at that and give us a heads up.
It's appreciation.
Appreciation,
Not
that too.
appropriation, yeah.
Appreciation, yeah. That too. I forgot my bifocals again today. I gotta leave them in my truck, I guess. Okay. Request from Northern Vermont RC and DC for $100 appropriation.
Right, I was a little I read through that, but I was a little unclear what they actually did for us.
Oh, they do a lot for us.
Okay.
They're the ones, the umbrella organization for Better Back Roads,
Oh, okay.
Steve Jerome.
Okay.
And they're actually, the $100 that they're requesting is to replace the George D. Aiken Council, which is no longer
Okay.
active.
Took a lot of photographs for that report, too. Nice report.
Can we back up a second to this learning collaborative thing? This.
No, no backing up. We're going forward, pal. I gave you your opportunity. No, go ahead.
What does this mean?
I think that was sent to the listers from PV&R. I believe that Michelle is not clear on exactly what the issue is. I feel that she's thinking that this is an appeal of the valuation,
Oh.
and that's what the standard procedure would be if they were appealing that, not that they're appealing requesting a tax exempt status. I think there's some miscommunication or misunderstanding there.
I see. Because
Yeah,
then the decision of the listers. Because all right, I got it.
Yeah, there was a lot of discussion with the listers when they were going through to set it as tax exempt. They were going to send it up to the state. They were calling a lot of different people to try to get information on what to do, how to do it, and I think this is part of that whole, asking for information. And it was information, I think, that was miscommunicated somehow. So I think we can almost
Just
disregard, because the listers actually did send it up saying for tax exempt,
Mm-hmm.
so, and
Okay.
that they're saying that we can't do anything if the listers don't don't make the adjustment, so.
Okay. Thanks, sorry.
Okay, so we're back down to the Northern Vermont RC and DC for $100,
Okay.
and, we have a motion to,
Well, that's to be
Oh,
included in the budget.
budget, right.
But I just wanted you guys to see it.
alright, so don't worry about a motion until we get through the, budget. Alright, everybody see, Susan Weinberg's question about the library and community center?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I sent her along the budget that the library trustees presented to us.
Oh, good, yep.
She had one other question, that was how many people use the library. So I sent along the 634 memberships. I don't know that they keep track of use.
They do, and I believe that that's
Do you
in
have
their
it?
report.
I
I'll
don't
look,
see
but
it.
no, in their report that
Oh.
they've submitted to the auditors for the town report.
She, when I sent back a second communication, she said, "Oh, that's all right. Don't worry about it. Something for town meeting day if anything comes up." So she seemed maybe overly satisfied. So is that fair?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. I sent her a note also, just summarizing our meeting with the information they gave us.
Good. Yeah. Email from Lou Sorensen, Route 30, turn lanes at Covered Bridge and Green Iron Bridge. That's just something they're working on with,
Sounds like they're asking us to make the request if we're still interested, to formally, since they're repaving, to make the request for these turn lanes so that it'll get in their plan.
Just
I
like
don't
we
have
did
a
on
problem
Route
with
five.
it.
right.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do also.
I don't know if there's enough room by the Green Bridge coming off the narrow.
Right,
That's quite a narrow bridge on Route 30,
Right.
which then opens up, but very briefly before you arrive at the bridge. Or was he just talking southbound?
He was talking northbound at the
Northbound.
Green Iron
At
Bridge
the
and
Green
southbound.
southbound
at
at the other
River
one,
Bridge.
right.
Covered
Yeah.
bridge.
Yeah. I think left turn lanes are always a good idea.
Okay, somebody wanna make a motion that we, write a
I'll-
letter in support of
Yes,
having,
I'll move that we send a letter in support of the
Turn lanes.
the turn lanes
that
on
covered-
Route 30 when they repave.
okay,
I'll second that.
discussion on that?
And Matt Mann wanted to be CC'd in that letter.
Okay,
Do you want me to write that line?
please, if you would.
Okay.
I like how you jumped right up to that.
I almost opened my mouth and volunteered,
I was,
and
ju-
you
I was
the
just,
right things.
I was just waiting for her too. I wasn't gonna go any further until she had said anything before I took a, vote on this. Any other discussion?
You want that?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Unfinished business. Review lease from the community center. Everybody see the lease?
Mm-hmm.
It was just I went through it today and I'd looked at it before and I just saw a few things that we needed to change. And that is under unfinished business, which is right here. If you go to, let's see. Article 9, tenants shall not have the right to assign the leased premises or otherwise deposit of the lease or any interest therein. Basically, I think we want them to lease that building out. Is that what everybody's thought is? I mean, to get tenants in there.
Is it talking about like the entire premises?
I don't know. That's,
Yeah,
I-
it's a
I
little
didn't
unclear.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the
I
wording.
think what
is-
that means is, they can't like just sublet the whole facility to some other organization or some other entity.
Right.
It's like Yeah.
New thing.
Or any part thereof, though.
Oh, it says any part thereof?
Yeah.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
right.
Well,
Right.
we could
So I mean,
change that.
it's, I think the wording on that has to be
Yeah.
changed. You know, but I think we encourage them to
Yeah,
rent out space in the place. I mean, if we can get a regular tenant in there to.
Right, they are
Business,
renting out to the library.
right. And then the other thing is Article 11, where it says about the insurance. The town is actually paying the insurance now. And so the tenant is no longer paying that.
I don't have that in front of me, but there should be something that any subsequent tenants would provide their own insurance, though.
I don't know that you can do that because it's all, unless you just did it on the contents, like the library pays for their contents. They
I was
pay
thinking more in
insurance
terms
on
of
that.
liability, umbrella.
Their own renter's insurance you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
okay.
Yeah.
Not property.
Not.
No, yeah, not property.
Okay.
Just a regular renter's insurance is what you're referring to. So, those are the two places where I thought needed to be changed some. Anybody else have any?
Yeah, Lou, I'm sure, I don't know if you people are aware of it, but there's a questionnaire out on the post office, and possible if people are interested enough to move it, changing the hours and thereabouts, and some people have discussed the community center due to the parking center. I mean, they're not saying that's gonna happen, because there is a meeting, I believe, in January with the postal department. I don't know if you received that, no? All box holders did. At the post office.
I don't remember that.
Yes, last week, we received it, or possibly the week before, so.
That'd be a good tenant.
Yeah.
Right.
And that would open up, that would make the other available space very valuable, because suddenly you have a traffic generator in the building.
Okay.
Just something we have
Right.
to.
I'm not saying it's gonna fly, going there,
Mhm.
because there's a questionnaire relative to hours and movement and things like that. You fill out a form and they want their answer, they're gonna come to the people
Oh,
and have a meeting and discuss it.
And that's in January?
It is, I can,
Small.
or Jean can bring that date to the office tomorrow if
Yeah,
somebody
it'd
needs
be
that.
good to know about that, yeah.
Mhm.
If she comes tomorrow.
Right.
Oh, Lee will get her out.
Alright, so nobody else had anything else they wanted to
No.
look at, do about that?
Yeah, it looked like a good boilerplate lease to me.
Alright, so I'll use some white out, get that, a few things out of there, and then we'll call the, community center trustees in, have them
Mhm.
sign it.
So are they trustees or
Or-
are they a committee?
Committee. I
Okay.
guess. They're a committee.
All right.
I think they're a
No,
committee. I
they're
don't even-
trustees.
They're,
They call themselves trustees.
So are trustees elected? Or what's maybe my definition's not
I know.
right.
they're all the same people from the, well, most of them are the same people from the very beginning.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
they are.
I think there's only two members that aren't. And Joe-
And
I
is
mean,
it a hereditary position where
Their
their
family,
heirs and
yeah,
assign
their
will
heirs
take
take,
over?
take
or-
over after they're
Yeah,
done,
okay.
so,
Yeah, maybe Queen.
you know. So yeah, so I'll just tackle that, and I guess we can bring in the trustees or we'll-
Committee or
or
both
com-
of them?
or both of them. And we'll see if the heirs can come too. Just because they'll have to know this information,
Right,
and
right.
I'll invite them
Well,
to.
yeah,
I'll
their-
invite them to the next meeting. To
Their
have a-
dollar. Did they?
They
own
pay. Oh, they paid their
back?
dollar this year.
Oh, did they? All right.
Yes,
Good.
they did.
They're up to.
Great.
There is one other thing under correspondence for information. Seeing as how Tom got to go backwards, I'm going to go backwards. I just wanted to make sure everybody saw the letter from Vermont Department of Taxes about the COD at 11.7% and the CLA at 99.07%.
Mm-hmm. And what's the COD? 20% is where they
Mm-hmm.
you got to readjust, and
Right.
and 80% on
Right.
the other end. So we're still in pretty
Yeah.
good zone.
Yeah.
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 10% is considered really good.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So we're great.
They're
Good.
doing a good job.
Yeah, they were real worried about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were thinking in a year or 2 years, I think they were saying the last time. But at this rate, it looks like we might go even longer than that.
Mhm.
All right. So Ancient Roads Committee update, if any.
No, nothing new.
Nothing new? Continue work on the FY 2014 budget, but let's go to new business and do liquor and tobacco licenses if we
So you
could.
need to
Adjourn,
recess.
recess as the select board and
I'll move we recess as the select board and adjourn as the liquor board.
convene, not adjourn.
One of those legal words.
After he gets it right, I'll set it.
Yeah, all right.
Discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Okay.
So we're now a
Look,
liquor commission.
I feel different.
I do, yeah. Feel like I
You're a
actually,
little punchy. Not like you.
Did I tell you about the drum set that my
Yeah.
son got for you?
Came in twitching.
all right, so do I have a motion for the tobacco license and a liquor license for the Route 5?
I'll move we grant the tobacco and the liquor license for IQ Inc. on Route 5.
Second.
Discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
We don't have to sign here, do we?
Yes, you do. Yeah, it's the,
Oh, right here,
on both,
the both the wrinkled up pages.
both of them, we're in the same spot there.
All right, so that being said, let's adjourn from this and reconvene as the select board, if I got a motion.
Okay, I'll move that we adjourn as the liquor commission and reconvene as the select board.
Okay.
Second.
Discussion, all those in favor? Everybody needs to sign twice there.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Okay, so.
This is probably the most I
No, I didn't do it.
I didn't put him on because of this individual. There he is. Hey Dana.
Well,
What can I do with my?
Did you run over here?
It's been a long day. I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
I think I probably set it in one of these.
Oh, what could go wrong? Will this snow?
It'll be fun.
Okay, Danny, you wanna come up?
Sure.
Cause we're just about ready to go into, there we go. Go into our budget discussions and the rest of this stuff is.
Okay.
Steve in here for this, huh?
He's in communication with these guys all the time, so
Yeah, okay.
you should be able to
Yeah,
have
it sounded it, yeah.
How you doing tonight?
I'm good.
Great.
First of all, I'd like to say I apologize for the last couple of meetings that I've missed.
Right.
I've tried to warn in
Waited
advance.
until 10 o'clock for you to show up. Okay.
Yeah, I actually am paying for the one I missed on the 12th was not good. It was my girlfriend's birthday, and I missed the entire day. So I'm still paying for that one to this day. But it's been an adventure this last 2 months. I want to come in today and give you guys, being it's December, it's about the 6-month halfway part for the year, and just give you guys an idea of where we stand financially a little bit and some of the work the guys have been doing. I do have a printout today of what we hope is what the town's entitled to for the last 6 months for the work that we've done. And I've already highlighted the 3 items that pertain to the town. And then by doing our calculations, obviously not knowing what's happened in court or what happened with officers afterwards, we figured that right now the town's entitled to $9,941, about 60 cents, as of right now. obviously there's a lot more violations on there that don't generally apply to the town for what they get back, the work that we do. There's a lot of, you'll see the interstate highways. We actually couldn't figure out where that came from at first because it's on the interstate. But we had the START program over the summer where the state police and the sheriffs and local municipals are going out on the highway solely, trying to slow traffic down out there. And one of the points that we sat at quite a lot was just north of exit 3 over the Dummerston line. They had teams set up just on the Dummerston side, so everything we did on that side was in Dummerston. So every traffic complaint I wrote for that area would say the town of Dummerston. But it doesn't, it's a highway regulation, so it doesn't apply to the town's ordinances like we do in town.
Can you do something about that?
Not on the highway. You have to go see Mr. Schummel, I think. So there'd be quite a bit more if you counted that, but that obviously doesn't go there. And then there are all the other violations that we generally come across in the process of working on our speed enforcement. I know today Ian Tuttle and myself were in town. He was being very productive. I was listening to him throughout the day. My day was fairly quiet until the very end. I found a gentleman trying to get to the dump and was a little late at 85 and a 50. So that isn't obviously today's work wasn't included in this. This was done before that. So now that the ski season is picking up, Route 30 is becoming its normal highway traffic that we deal with a lot. We've done, I think, our checkpoint last weekend. I believe some of the guys did come down into Dummerston on the covered bridge area. Ian Tuttle was out Sunday. I guess 2 deer got struck out on Route 30. So he did check on those, took care of that problem, and now he was just in the area. So we look like from now with that, what we have for the revenue for the town. I have just this one sheet. I didn't make copies of this, but from the starting budget around $9,600, we have $4,600 left for the next 6 months. So with what we've basically come across and what you've budgeted for the year, we've way surpassed what the captain expects. But we still have another 6 months, especially with the next 2 to 3 months of winter traffic that we expect. So for our captain's point of view, we're doing very well for the town of Dummerston. Obviously, that's for you guys to let us know too. If you think there's something's being missed or we're not focusing in the right areas, we'd like to know. You're always free to call the office, call me, call the captain. Say there may be another hot spot. We try not to focus on Route 5 or Route 30 as much because we want to be in town. Here at the Four Corners, down to school. I know Ian, even though there was no school today, still went to the school zone just because even though school's not in, people think they can just go through there at 40 miles an hour. But in reality, that zone never changes. And there's still staff coming in and out, so we still go to those places. But if there's areas you want us to more focus on, we'll focus there too. But as of today, I spent a little time down by Walker Farm. I actually got mine leaving Dummerston, going towards Putney. He was coming out of Putney into Dummerston, and he had just come at me by exit 4 Sunoco. So he says he wasn't doing 85 and the 40 through there, but I'll have to believe him. So those things do pop up. And then I do have printouts for the last 3 months. You guys know, obviously, there's a lot of stuff here, but this is the STARS reports. We look at those. I have December's. You guys can just kind of look through them if you'd like, and then November's and October's. And the big things about those are, obviously, when you look at the last page where most everyone wants to look at, there's all the billable, non-billable hours. Time like where the captain and I spend in town is not billable. And then there's also the guys that are on grants that are not billable to the town but through grants. I believe we average around 10 hours of billable time in a month, but we're also getting in the areas of 30 hours a month of non-billable. So there's quite a bit of non-billable that's happening in town, which includes, like you said, the grants. There may be some what we call complimentary time by the captain and I for stuff that we do. So we're keeping that at a pretty steady pace, and by looking at the annual report, we're about halfway. We're getting about 4 hours, just over 4 hours and like 15 minutes a week in town. That's what we're budgeted for the budget. So if you look at what we're actually spending here, we're actually going well beyond that 4 hours in a week. So that's what our sergeant works off. He knows the 4 hours is what he can put a deputy being paid for 4 hours. So if you break that down by weekly, we're way above that 4 hours. And we already know that we have 109 hours of billable time left. So I don't even focus on mostly the hours that we have the budget, because for me or for the captain, we just come in and do stuff like complaints that might come in that somebody's asking for an escort to a property, things like that. He and I will come in, and help them take care of that without an actual bill for that. Because it could be anywhere from a 5 minute, let me go and grab my thing and leave, or it could be an hour long, let me go get my clothes and come out. So that's the kind of stuff. I don't generally focus on the hours remaining. That's more for the sergeant to do for what we need to, what we're going to bill for. Any questions on any of that?
Yes.
That's a lot of information.
So if the health officer or animal control officer in town wants a little backup in either the constable or law enforcement person has to be there when a health order's delivered. Is that a billable service?
It would be, depending on the time that we were being told it could end up. I mean, if this is going to be a drawn out. The other question would become is this going to be an all day where we're going to have to stay at a house doing some kind of eviction? That could really dig into this billable time, where we would come to the board or someone and say, look, there's a lot of hours involved. Are we willing to bill for that? Or how urgent and important is this for a health order? You know, the captain's helped in the past with sitting on a residence that had to be an eviction done for them for a long period of time, knowing that that would be fairly expensive. We would come in, myself or the captain would come in and help with that. But if it's going to be an hour, 2 hour, bringing maybe some animals out of a home, that could be a billable time. That's a complaint. We would log in a case number, there'd be an investigation and a report to that. So we could possibly send someone in and actually bill for that. But that does take away from the time that the guys can sit on the road and be doing some speed enforcement. So there's a balance, and it would be a conversation about how do we want to do it that way, or send in myself or the captain. And that's happened. Other towns, like Westminster, I had to go do an animal complaint. Some residents had called and didn't feel like it was being addressed, so I went in, located what was going on, found out what was happening, and actually solved the issue and dealt with it. And the town didn't get billed for that. So I did it on my own. I wasn't transporting at that time, so I wasn't taking time away from anything else. I was just available to do it. So that's how we could do that. So there's a number of scenarios. But it could be a possible billable time.
Sounds like under perfect conditions, you could get away with doing half your job. Under perfect conditions.
Right. Well, sometimes our constable is available.
Yeah, and it's good to have that. You know, I know in times.
High bailiff is also a person we can use.
I mean, I know in the past doing some of these complaints, for an animal complaint, you can put a lot of hours into those, and I've done it, and it's very draining on a budget like this. I mean, I remember the year I did the one down by the church in Dummerston here with the large greyhounds, large animals, goat was involved. There was hundreds of hours tied up into that complaint, and that just was the place is being torn down now. We had a complaint there. It took a lot of hours, and then I had follow up. I had to follow these
place
dogs
on
around.
Route 5 there.
Route 5,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, it was years ago now.
Yeah.
I had to do a lot of follow up. I had to drive around, check on all these dogs who were scattered all over because Humane Society just didn't have room. So we have to be careful how long this could be into this and what kind of financing there is available. So we want to be able to focus on our job of doing motor vehicle and helping slow people down, but also need to help the town if they have an issue that needs to be addressed.
Okay.
So it sounds like your most concern is the motor vehicle, slowing down motor vehicles in town.
Yes.
Is what you guys are really concerned about in the town.
Correct, and that's what I'm being directed to from the sheriff, because that's what, not just Dummerston, but towns in general. And I know from the years I've been with the sheriff, even from when Bill Graham was here, that was one of the things he always said I get more calls about, is people speeding through towns, not slowing down. Newfane's got a lot of focus on that. Putney has Deputy Martin there. She does as much as she can there. In Jamaica, we get a lot of calls from Jamaica about this. So we do focus on that side of things, the motor vehicle, the slowing people down. But other things come along with it. Obviously, people get under suspension driving. So that actually is a crime, so now we have to tie up some time on the investigation and the process.
But break-ins and stuff like that, we're asked to call the state police.
Correct. If you call them and there's an answer, if they're tied up or you get no answer, you call our office. And the sheriff himself or the captain will say, okay, they've asked for this agency to help and they can't, for whatever reason, can't do it. They could direct myself or the captain or someone to come in and, okay, let's take care of this, because maybe there is evidence sitting there that can't be, just needs to be investigated and not left behind. And we will come in. But it does take that, the board might need to support that a little bit if there's going to be time invested in it. And also if we know that it's a fairly lengthy burglary ring. It could be a burglary ring that we're dealing with. It's tied into that, so we've got other people investigating it as well. So it would take that scenario to play out first, and then, or if it's immediate, there's someone on the phone screaming for help. We're not going to say you need to call so and so. We're coming no matter what, and we'll deal with that part later. The public safety is always the most important part. So there is that.
I was just noticing your bill for this past, I guess it was October, maybe in October. A lot of the time is spent, November. A lot of your time is spent on Route 30, Middle Road,
Not Middle Road.
East, West.
Just one mention of Middle Road here. Schoolhouse.
Well,
East, West.
which one are you looking at? Are you looking at October?
Oh,
or
I'm
November?
sorry, yeah. I got it.
December, yeah. But you, and
Sorry.
yeah, and you've got the Route 30, Middle Road, Schoolhouse Road, East West Road, and Route 5.
Correct.
And I guess Steve's not here tonight. I wish he was, because I know one of his things are getting out on the other roads, our dirt roads. Don't just concentrate all your time on our.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
Because we've got a lot of other roads in town. I mean, we've got 60 some odd miles of road in town, and you're talking the 12 miles of road we have in town.
We do ask the deputies, when they go out on those roads, we ask them, they should be going out there doing, even if they're just driving out to see the neighborhood, talk to people. The biggest concern with being on some of these roads is where can we go? So we ask residents a lot of times if they're volunteering their driveways for places for our guys to sit, because some roads, we want to go down there, but there's nowhere for us to go that we can sit. And we've actually tried to get the handheld radars. You might have seen some guys standing outside. We have limited space to park, so we'll park the car back somewhere. They'll walk out to the road edge, and they'll stand it. It causes a little delay in getting back, because now we don't want the deputy to be doing 80 miles an hour to catch the guy doing 60. But we need to have some ability to get to the car. So
Now, you can't run radar while you're driving.
we can. We try to.
I guess that's what the concern is not enough visibility of the sheriff being on, just even on the roads. Driving the roads. We want you to be slowing down the speeders, but driving on the roads are going to slow people down too.
Of course.
Not always writing a ticket doesn't have to be the main issue, unless you're really going fast or
Right.
whatever. But driving the roads are going to make you more visible, and if you're on the roads more often, I know a lot of people have commented about you even parking your car on Quarry Road. How they almost went off the road a few times because they come around the corner and there's the sheriff's car and they're slamming on the brakes. Just driving on the roads
Does it?
are going to do it. Not always having to get out. And I think that's what some people would like to see.
Yes, and we are more happy to do that. I know the guys for so long now have been pressed about mileage, not just aimlessly driving around with fuel, because it does cost us the money to drive the car around, but we do. And they sit still too. These cars have to be running a good deal of the time with all that equipment on. So, idling versus driving, yes, there's a difference in the fuel mileage. We just want to be careful that the guys aren't over driving and out there just losing half a tank of gas. And that's where we monitor the numbers, because if a deputy's not producing the numbers, like we don't see, he goes out for a 4-hour shift and there's 0, that's a call that deputy's going to get about what did you do out there and why did you not find anything. Something's going to come. Today I had the guy coming at me out of the blue. Something's going to come to you, even if you're just driving around, but we don't want them also just driving on aimlessly too. So, we know some roads obviously are much more busier. Bunker Road, I go out there quite a lot. That's a road that's used between Putney, West Hill, and town quite often. I think even at one point we were sitting out there. Some residents had asked us to
We
sit
had a
out.
couple accidents there in
Right the
the
corners.
gully, yeah.
Yeah, that was one of those ones where the captain and I had come out quite a bit, and we were just sitting at different times. We have the radar cart. We like to put that out when we can. The problem with the radar cart is there's not generally a deputy there all the time. There is sometimes. We do sit around them. But that is just there.
Nobody
Just-
told me that.
Just there to tell, it's just there to tell you how fast you're going. So you might get the one guy that says, let me see how fast I can get that thing to go. And it kind of defeats the purpose.
Right.
But you never know. The sergeant might go park it, put it up, and then go drive down the road 100 yards and sit. Because somebody says, oh, that's just a radar cart. There's nobody around. And then 65 through the thing, and there's the sergeant sitting there with the radar going on his car now. So he only has the speed cart, but he has his own radar too. So there are ways to do it.
Do you have some kind of a system, or you say a deputy's going to work for Dummerston for 4 hours, and the deputy decides, well, I'll go over on Route 5 for an hour, I'll go down on Route 30 for an hour, I'll be near the school during school opening and closing, and the rest of it will be east-west road. Or do you make a determination that says that we'll put in X number of minutes or hours on this road, this road, this road, that road, maybe on some kind of rotational basis, so that the people that use those roads can't expect, well, it's Tuesday, he's always here Tuesday at 9 o'clock.
No, we try, other than the school zones, for the most part, the school zones are locked times, so you really
Right.
can't move around. So we try to be around the schools. People are going to know, what we hope is if we sit one day, but we don't sit the next day, we go to a different zone, we come back. That's not for them to learn that, okay, every other day, or that's different. But yes, the school zones will be one of those things where people can learn, which is good.
That's
You
good.
kind of want them, you know, when we see a deputy not producing at that hour block, maybe we don't say, okay, maybe he's not doing it, but yet he is, because now everybody slows down between that time. So we don't tell the deputies or anybody to go out at certain times. We do say you got to be out when dispatch opens, and you know the last deputy on at 10 o'clock goes off and dispatch closes. But I come out at 7:15 every morning, and I find a spot somewhere. I just randomly go pick a place. Some deputies are told what towns to go to at specific
What they would
times.
do as you do, pick their place.
They would pick their places, and a lot of that can be dictated by the traffic that day. Sometimes you might find there's an event going on somewhere, and they're using a crossroad to get there. So you might move to that road that I wouldn't be able to assign the deputy to it. He would just come to town and find out. Somebody would say, "Oh, there's a festival over here," and the deputy would move towards the festival, just to ensure that okay, people aren't using that crossroad as a freeway, but they're minding the speed limit. So
Do any towns offer you suggestions, or is that micromanaging and meddling?
no, we don't mind. We actually would like your suggestions. We have a couple of towns that some of the selectmen come out, and I know one town I go to, and I can guarantee you he's coming to find me. As soon as for whatever reason, he must have ESP or something. He can tell we're there. He'll come find me. And you'll say, well, I just saw a car here yesterday. Every day at 4 o'clock goes through here at this speed. And we'll say, okay, so let's send somebody out there. Not exactly at that moment, but let's say an hour or 2 hour block, and let's see if we can figure this out, why or who this person is. So we will do that. If you come to us and say there's an issue around this time, you know, we don't like to target specific people, but obviously if one's doing it, somebody else will be doing it as well, and we want everyone to say, well, okay, now the deputy's out here, let's just not do that. You know, there's a speed limit for a reason. You know, we don't want to wait till the accident happens and come out and say, well, you were speeding. We don't mind suggestions at all. We like it because there's some parts of town that even if we don't get out there, the town knows. Residents will say, well, this car speeds through every day. Okay, if that car's doing it, there's probably half a dozen more that are coming through here at the same time. Let's go out there and see what's going on. You know, we'll spend time out there. It may not be a specific number of days. It could be weeks. It could be a month. It could be a couple days, depending on what we find. I mean, we have had people tell us something's happening. We go out there, and we'll sit up behind a bush with a handheld, which is very active. Now people don't see the car. And we'll find, okay, their perception's off a little bit. It's actually they're doing 35 when they said they were doing 45. So we're getting a better gauge of what people are seeing, and it helps the residents feel comfortable. Okay, the deputy came out, he saw his radar, and we have no problem when the people come watching us on radar. I mean, they might not understand what they're looking at, but they can ask, well, how are they doing today? And we'll tell them. Honestly, you know, okay, they're, you know, had 2 people at 15 over today, and well, I've had nobody really over today, maybe a couple miles an hour. You know, the residents will feel a little bit better that, okay, that's actually what's happening. So, and that's why we use our tools. We don't just park our car, and because a car is a big signboard. We make them intentionally to be seen for public reasons, but when you go out to do, say, some kind of motor vehicle enforcement, it's a problem because everybody starts flicking their lights and take side roads and they turn off. But we find if we park the car in someone's driveway, someone will offer, hey, come park your car here. We'll park it and we'll walk out to the road. And cars may go by for an hour and then nobody realizes we're standing there because we're just standing there with a handheld. But then again, first car comes through, will be 20 over, and next thing you know, now our blue lights are flashing. So it can work as long as we know where you want us to be if there's a problem area. You know, we know the schools. We hit there all the time. Like you said, we're always on East-West Road. And I know I drive on Middle Road a lot to get from the office to court, so I'm usually driving that road a lot. But I don't generally sit down on Middle Road much. So that's what we can do.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Come visit West Street.
Cool. I'll make a note of that.
Oh, you don't have to.
Outside.
Well, I know I came down and sat by the cemetery for a couple of days, and the neighbors came out and were talking to me. And I sadly haven't been able to get back there much, but they seemed happy when they saw me there. And I actually told them what I was seeing, and they were, oh, I thought they were doing a little more. Well, my car might be doing it too, but
Right.
where they were, they couldn't see me till they came around. Then they would have slowed down. But my radar, it will tell you things that are coming, but you can't use it. You can't say, okay, well, I can write that guy for the speed or grow that speed. I'll get an indication something's coming, so I get an idea, and then suddenly, whoop, there they are, and okay, they are speeding, or oh no, they're not really speeding. So,
Right,
yeah, we're very mindful of that.
yeah, great.
Well, great, thank you very much.
Good. Any questions? Anything else? Everybody good?
Well, thanks for coming in.
Yes.
Appreciate your
Sorry,
time.
like I said, I haven't been able to come in as much as I wanted. And I've been in Newport and Burlington, and
Now you're
Barry.
Working.
those are my towns I seem to be stuck in lately. I think I need to go hire myself out of them as well. A little overtime maybe. But thank you.
Thank you
All
very
right,
much.
appreciate it. Of
Take
course.
care.
Yeah,
Yes.
Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year.
Okay. Moving right along, back to the budget.
I move we approve the budget as written.
Do I hear a second? All those in favor?
Let's go.
No, it just died for lack.
A lot of zeros on here, but no,
It looks pretty,
no, they
it looks
are-
pretty filled in.
Lori and I were looking at it. Where was that place where we thought we could take 1,000 taxes?
Under county tax on the last page,
Yep.
almost at the bottom.
The very last page of all the stuff you gave us.
No, the very last page of the budget worksheet, the
All right, right
first
here.
thing that's stapled together.
What is it?
Let's go down to county tax.
Uh-huh.
And does everybody see that?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
To the left. Yeah, if you look back at the history of it, we've been doing 15.8, budgeting 15.8. In 2011, it was 14,237, and last year it was 12,488.
So you want to try 14.5 in there this year, right?
Try 14. Yeah, 14.5 would be good. I would think.
All right.
Still gives you a cushion.
Right.
and let's see.
Um,
I had a question.
no, I think that's pretty good.
The asterisks are.
Pass.
Pass through.
What about this VLCT insurance? Oh, because the fire department pays
The
back.
fire department reimburses us for
Okay.
their insurance.
Right, of course.
Did everybody see on the highway report the mowing bid?
Yes.
Okay. When I was talking to Lee, he saw that there was quite a bit of, concern about the tractor, and so what he was thinking is, and Steve had even suggested that we put our bids out too late in the year
Right.
to do, to get anybody. So he was suggesting that we put it out now for the 2-week period that we put them out for, and see what we get back. And if you, there's some things on there that the people have to have. They have to have a driver's license in order to be using a tractor on the road, unless they're a farmer. And so that was one key thing that definitely needs to be on there. They have to have a driver's license. The insurance. They have to have a light, strobe light. But we were thinking about putting this in the reformer, giving it 2 weeks, see what we come back with. Because if we come back with
Sure.
$11,000, $12,000 bid, or we come back with somebody that we really don't think is going to be up to doing the job just because they bid $6,000 or $7,000,
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're gonna have to be the judge on that and saying, you know what, this isn't a person that we really want to be doing this mowing. And now is it worth doing the tractor in the mower? And if we don't do the tractor, there's a few places that we can cut on the budget. But we're gonna have to add, where it's gonna be, it'll basically turn out to be a $2,000 increase to the budget.
If we
Don't
don't do
Subtracting the
the,
contracted price and adding in the tractor.
No, subtracting the contracted price, that would go down, well, you'd have to add whatever the contractor is, that part. But you'd have to,
Increase the diesel.
diesel fuel by $3,500. We're gonna have to increase the diesel fuel by $3,500. The repairs could go down $500. Let me get to the, repairs could go down $500 and $1,000 on, bear with me.
Why would repairs go down?
Because he figured in for repairs for the mower and
Bar.
the bar, and he was figuring on repairs for that.
Okay.
And so that would go down. And what was the other thing? Treatment contract services would be down. Well, contract services would be going up. So yeah, that would be the thing. So we'd have to add to the diesel fuel budget, the contract services budget. And we could
why
get-
so much for the diesel fuel?
Because the diesel fuel he's going to be saving that with doing the blower. We won't be using all the other equipment. We won't be using 2 men. It'll only be 1 man. You won't be using 2 trucks and the backhoe to be doing the leaves.
Mm-hmm.
And we're also upping. And the reason the diesel will be going up even more than what we've allotted is because we've also allotted for doing extra gravel this year.
Mm-hmm.
So he's figuring with doing all this, it would have to go up another $3,500 because the savings in doing the leaves and stuff.
And so if we decide to do the tractor mower, are we going to increase the amount we put in the capital? We ask the town to put in the capital budget this year?
I would definitely suggest that we should do that anyways.
Anyway, so
Even if we don't do the tractor,
mhm.
I think we had, because it's the $5,500 is not going to help us out down the, what was it, 2021? And I mean, that's when we've got to be really looking at it, is for 2021. And if we don't do it now, I mean, it's just going to catch up to us. So I think we definitely should have to. What are we asking to put in this year? 106?
102 is what we had been doing.
No, this year is going to be 106. Next year was going to be 108, then 110, 112.
Well, we're not going to catch that deficit in 2021 unless we up it by $10,000 a year.
Right, well, that's.
So, if we want to do that. I mean, we want to ask people to do that.
I mean, I think we're going to have to. I mean, it's the only responsible thing. Because if we look down here on the capital budget, you start looking at these prices, and I don't know if we're going to be able to get this stuff at the price that we have it on there now.
I agree.
And so if we take this step now to get it back up there,
I think what it will do is bring a lot of scrutiny to bear on our rotation schedule here of this equipment. We should make sure Lee's prepared to defend that because, you know.
oh, I mean, I think, well, he's held back on trucks for us before when we needed him to.
Oh, I'm not questioning.
No, I
him.
know,
I'm
but I'm
just-
saying is,
I'm
I
anticipating
think-
town,
right.
the town meeting.
I mean, I think he has no problem,
Mhm.
you know, defending that when it does come time, because, like I said, I know we held on to the one big truck
Mhm.
for a lot longer, you
And
know,
I know
quite a
there's
few
that
long
balance
years.
of trade-in value versus, you know, you
Right.
might milk one more year out of it, but you lose it in trade-in.
I mean, I've just been looking at this and,
So I think to be responsible, there's really nothing we can do except to make that balance out there at 2021. You know, we should propose that and,
right,
like I say, and try to anticipate the reaction. Because the budget's gonna go up and then we're gonna ask for this as well, so it's definitely gonna be a raise in, it's gonna raise people's taxes.
Right.
And I think that, you know, that's fine, and I think people will, I think the town will support it as long as it's supportable, you know, and that's why I just wanna make sure that we've got all of our
right.
information ready and
And that's
it
why,
all checks out.
and like I say, that's why another reason that, you know, with Lee coming up with this instead of sitting here trying to argue with us about the tractor, definitely just needing the tractor without wanting to weigh the options, shows a little bit to me that, you know, he's willing to go whichever way is best for the town. And I mean,
Mhm.
if the bid comes in at $11,000, $12,000, $13,000, $10,000, we have to weigh that. I mean, right now we're looking at $6,000, which looks like, you know, hey, if we can get away with that for a few years, you know, that might.
So was that Lee's idea to put that out to bid, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great, yeah.
Yeah, he came up with this, and you know, he
Mm-hmm.
called me up to ask me if he thought it was a good idea, and I said I absolutely think that's what we should do, and you know,
Think we can get those bids in before we have to close this budget out then?
within 2 weeks, I think,
Yeah.
yeah, that would be. I mean, the budget really has. I mean, they want it by the 2nd of January, but when does it absolutely have to be?
It could go to the following week, I think.
So we.
I have a budget meeting on my calendar for the 24th of January, is that just some weird?
That's a special meeting to approve the warning,
Oh,
because that's the deadline for any articles.
So I think if we got this out tomorrow, if we could put it, well, if there was any way we could get it down to the reformer to
I
do
can
that.
do it tonight
And,
before I leave.
okay, and we get it in there as soon as possible. I think we'd have time to
Just,
look at it and
Mhm.
see where it goes.
okay, good. What else?
Could we ask our assistant to redo the capital budget, and with the 116 in it for this year, and then,
10,000 every year thereafter.
well, are we gonna do 10,000, or are we gonna keep with this schedule where it was going up?
Well, I think 10 on top of the 2
Okay,
every
yeah,
year,
yep, yep.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever is there, just add 10,000 to everything. And 2021.
30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Yeah, and that will just balance it, you know, if nothing goes over, I mean,
Right.
that's just barely enough. Without the tractor, it would, we could probably do it with 5,000, right? With a little bit of grace. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 40, yeah.
But yeah, but we want to make sure we have money in there. I mean, this is going to be down to 0. I mean, below 0. So I think we.
Adding all that, it'll bring the bottom line to 13,070. It'll be in 21, 22.
Adding 10 to each
Mhm.
one, yeah.
Would bring it to what? 13.
1370. No, I can't find this.
Yeah. Yeah, so, which is nothing, you know,
Right.
on a capital budget, so. It'd be nice to know what was there out there in 2022 and 23. I mean, what's up next? I mean, do we get a breather year at all?
We probably will, because I mean we've got it this year and next year, and I think we actually had it last year, didn't we? Did we have 80,000 last year?
We had 80,000 plus the fire truck lease.
Oh, right, 120,
And
yeah.
9,000 for this
So,
roof.
Well, I guess next year, that's it.
so,
So we're emailing all the new capital fund,
okay.
okay?
So I think what we'll do is we'll have Lori get that in the newspaper. Get that in by the 9th, right? Or, yeah. Any bids? So let's go back to the budget worksheet for right now. I mean, with those numbers there on the highway maintenance are really gonna be out there until we make a decision there. I mean, we really can't do the contract services because of the not knowing how much the mowing would cost us.
Right. So this would be valid only if we buy the tractor.
Tractor, correct.
Before we start going the line by line, can we look at where we are?
It was like a 6% increase right now.
Is that's what it is?
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
6%? Okay. So, well, we're in, say my comfort zone, but the sort of the window that I was figuring we'd be 5 to 10 was
Well, we
something I
still
was
have
feeling willing to defend.
the sheriff's department request, because we only plugged in the $9,600, and I know Steve said at one point he wanted 14,000, and now he sent a thing up tonight saying he wanted 12,000
Right.
to go to them. And
Well, am I reading this right? How much of this we get? All that?
Well, that's what they're projecting, but you don't get that all in 1 year. It has to make its way through the court system. I mean, there are sometimes tickets that they'll write this year, we won't get the funds for 2 years.
Right, and if they're challenged and thrown out or reduced,
Right.
then this is all like best case scenario.
Exactly.
Right.
at this point, we had $2,400, I think it was,
That we have received so far.
so far after 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And last year it was 6,000 something, I believe.
Yeah, last year we got $6,225.
And this year we're a little behind that.
Right, and this is as of 2 weeks ago. I didn't have time to update the receipt to date,
Okay.
so this is not up to today.
So, I mean, that's just one of the other numbers that we do have to, that wasn't a confirmed number, is I guess what I'm saying.
And also, I still need to get a quote for an audit.
Right, that was the other thing. Lori was sick. I did receive her doctor's note today. So she did not get that.
But I will.
So do we want to start going down line by line, or do we, do we get to the sheriff's department, or do we want to go to the sheriff's department and discuss that now, or how do you want to do it?
I don't mind discussing it now. I've forgotten entirely why Steve wanted to bump it initially to 14,000 and then to 12,000.
Well,
Anybody remember what his rationale was?
At 14, he had talked with the sheriff. They wouldn't be billing by the hour, is what I understood, and they would be more out on the back roads more. It would buy more time, and the idea was they would have more time to be spending just making their presence known in the rest of the roads that usually don't see a sheriff's help.
I think it's pretty clear that they're willing to do that, but they're clear that they're not going to be writing a lot of tickets. So if we want that presence on the back road, we're either going to have to sacrifice some of what we're already getting if we stay at the current amount, or we have to add money to it and
Mhm.
have them write the same amount of tickets they are now, but spend some extra time on the back roads, just being there, and discouraging speeders and crooks and
Mhm.
barking dogs will even quiet as they go by, right?
Not my dog.
So Steve, he I didn't see, he sent an email today about.
Yeah.
Sent it to me.
Mm-hmm.
He said, if the budget is discussed tonight, I would propose we budget $12,000 for the sheriff's department.
In lieu of services that the townspeople would have to see. Of course, we heard tonight that we can control that, at least some.
Right, I mean, we've, yeah. We've asked before though, I mean, we've asked them before to be on different roads, and that's why I brought up the schoolhouse, east-west road, middle road, Route 5 and Route 30, they're on our tarred roads. We've asked before for them to, you know, it took Tom calling him up
Is that corner?
personally to get him on Bunker Road,
Right.
to do Bunker Road, and it's one of those things. I mean, it sounded like they were willing to do it, but it also sounded like they didn't want to waste their gas doing it either. You know, they didn't want to be putting too many hours on without getting tickets.
Mm-hmm.
Generate income.
You know, and I mean that makes sense. I mean they've got to make money too,
Mhm.
and they do get a percentage of the tickets, not a very big percentage. The town gets the biggest percentage of.
Well, I think it's a fair argument to make if we wanted to raise it to, if we felt it's good for the town to get more of a presence on our back roads, we're going to have to pay for it. I mean, there's just no two ways about it. And that would be the justification for raising it to 12. That's why.
That's if you get it on the back roads, though. Like
Right.
I said, we've asked for them before on the back roads, and I don't feel we've gotten it.
And they're suggesting more or less status quo.
We're just,
Well, I think they respond. They appear to. They did go to Bunker Road.
Oh,
when
they
I called.
absolutely did.
When they're called by a town official, they.
well, I'm not
Yeah,
saying
so-
they don't go to these things. I'm not
Mhm.
saying they, my thing is the sheriff's department, they came in and they said what they wanted to do. They just wanted to do traffic control. That's
Mhm.
it. They didn't want to do animal control. They didn't want to do
Mhm.
investigations. And we don't want them to do investigations. Just like he said, it costs a lot of money to have an investigation done when we can call the state police to have, do investigations. And so, I mean, if there's suspicious people on the back road, we can call the state police. And,
So,
where does everybody stand?
I'm looking for ways to cut the budget right now.
Right.
So I'd sort of keep the 12 in the back pocket, and if we find some place where I don't know. I've gone through this and I don't see too many places to cut.
It's, yeah.
Um,
And then and by putting 12 in, we're just adding, we're adding,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, we don't have that many discretionary.
If we split the difference between what they're requesting and what Steve wanted, it comes to about 11,600, which doesn't cut the budget,
Right.
but
That
doesn't
does-
meet that need either. And you seem skeptical that we'll see an improvement in terms of diversification of service, unless we make phone calls.
Right.
We meaning the select people.
right. And I don't think that's where, we want to be at, is to have to make these calls, because then we'll know whether, to me, it should be out there anyways. And I don't know.
You wanna put 10,000 in there?
I was thinking of going 8, but I could be
You want a
wrong.
little lower?
No, I'd stay with the 96. I mean, right, like Zeke said, leave it at 96 now, and let's go through the budget. If we can cut somewhere, I wouldn't mind going to 10, but
All right.
I'd rather see if we're going to cut anywhere else. And if we've looked at this budget, we're already at 6%, and then we're talking about adding another 10,000
Yeah.
to the capital budget, which is going to shoot that number right up.
Okay.
It's, I think we'd be more responsible to.
Right, and we don't know what will come up from the floor.
Right.
Mhm. And that's okay too?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, right.
I'm
So
gonna
it's
listen
four.
to a voicemail from home just because she called.
Could be just another drum like.
Oh, she's forgotten that I had a meeting tonight. So, okay.
Okay,
Make
so
sure the house wasn't on fire.
select board salaries. Nobody wanted to increase that this year, I saw, so we'll leave that at 25.
You know, there is no Santa Claus.
Wages, clerical, expenses. Gloria, anywhere you think we can dump some of your money, you let us know too.
Okay, I will keep that in mind.
Hmm.
220
The gravel pit opening
Um,
expenses, that we've got right down to the dollar, so 28,506.
Select board meeting. And we're on television, so I gotta go. All right, bye.
Oh, I don't tell.
I'm looking
I didn't know you
for
were
a select
on the
board
phone.
meeting down here.
Sorry,
and-
that was awkward.
That's all right. It was funny too.
can we back up to professional services? And where we have had, 6,000 last year, and you've got 5,000. What is happening?
It's the town attorney's
Oh,
fees.
okay. And we were saying, we'd go easy. That's why it's
Because we hadn't received their bill, and then
Right,
we put
right.
5,000 in there, and then we received the bill for 36, which
Yeah.
we should be getting some of that back. Have we got any of that back yet?
From,
Fisher and Fisher?
no, they haven't sent any revisions yet.
Okay, because we should be, I did call them
Okay.
about the bill.
They'll probably just apply the credit toward their next
Oh,
invoice.
maybe, but he said they were gonna actually do it as a,
Oh, a reimbursement check?
yeah,
Oh,
that's what I was told, but he's fairly new there too, so. So 5,000 is probably good.
We can stay out of trouble.
Tom, the gravel pit opening expense, why is that at 28,506 again?
I don't remember. Where's your budget? I think we figured out what the rest of, the remainder on the proposal from Stevens and Associates was. And, well, Act 250 is all paid for. That application's paid for.
Yeah, none of this should happen after the 1st of July. Why is that in there?
18.
And why isn't there a loan expense?
There is no loan expense because we have not taken out a loan.
Right, we were
We
hoping,
have not opened the line of credit because we haven't needed to.
But we will, right?
Not necessarily.
we were thinking we were gonna make it possibly without having that.
Right.
Okay.
I know we've had this conversation.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'm having a hard time getting my head around where we found $75,000.
Well, $75,000 not all in 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
We, like last year, we expended $19,000, almost $20,000, and we were able to absorb that in the budget because our delinquent tax collection was high enough,
Mm-hmm.
so we didn't have to take out the line of credit for that. And so far this year, we've spent almost $27,000, and we haven't our cash flow is then high enough where it didn't make any sense to take out a line of credit and have to pay interest on that when we have the money in the bank that we're not making any interest on. You see what I mean?
I do. Okay. So then, why do we have $28,000 for pit opening expenses?
Right, that's.
28,506.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
very, it's a very
506 is what it's killing me. The 6, I guess, is what it
Yeah.
is. The 28,500 we could live with.
yeah,
but
it,
$6
it must be
is
the
out.
balance of something.
Can we cut that $6 off that? That could
Right.
make the whole difference.
No. Is that what's left after $75,000 if you take out, subtract it of what we've expended?
No, you're right.
That is what's left,
That's-
right?
Okay.
Yeah,
So that's just the balance of what we were authorized to spend.
Right.
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense. We have no idea if we'll actually spend it though. Because
Right.
a lot of it depends on, you know, the cost opening that road and if Mike's gonna charge us and how much
Right.
of the work the road crew can do and all that stuff,
Yeah.
so. Okay, well, that makes sense.
And that all has to be paid into 1 year. That all has to be paid by,
Well, it's what you're projecting that you're gonna
pay
pay.
it back, right? Okay.
And it's not, that's not the loan. We can still open that line of credit
Right.
at any time.
Right,
I mean, we have the approval to do it.
right,
Just haven't had to yet.
okay. So, we haven't cut anything yet, guys. Let's go down to
No.
administration. Here's where we can really do our cutting.
Right, there's, I simply don't see anything there to.
No, I mean, supplies, the auditor, they did go up $150. I guess the town report print went down 300.
Yeah.
So.
How come we didn't have a gravel pit opening expense in our budget last year? Don't we have it in?
I asked that same question last year. But,
And the answer was probably because it was gonna be a pass-through from the loan. And we would have had, it would have been
Right.
centrally.
Right.
So, with that in mind, this number should be a pass-through number then,
No.
or not in there at all. Because it's the same, if we didn't put it in last year,
I really feel that it should have been in there last year because we knew we were gonna spend money,
mm-hmm,
but
Right. I think it should be in also.
well, in that case, I think that what we spent last year should be put in there so that when we compare the budgets, we're comparing
Yes.
them
right,
properly.
Right. Right.
Otherwise, it looks like we had this great big increase because we're not accounting for money we
That
actually
can't-
spent.
I mean, I understand exactly what you're saying, but we can't put it in the town report like that
Right.
because that's not what was approved at the 2012 town meeting by the voters.
I see.
See? But I mean, I understand what you're saying to compare it
All right. Well,
Okay. So maybe we can at least for our
for your, yeah.
yes, peace of mind.
well, that has to be explained because,
Good luck.
well, yeah, and probably not by me since I don't understand it myself yet. What?
And I'm not on the select board, so.
We're gonna have a chair up there for you.
So we were authorized to borrow and spend up to $75,000.
Right,
We started spending, but
2 years ago.
we didn't have to borrow.
Right.
So we have not been reporting those expenses to the town.
We have been reporting the expenses to the town. The actual expenses are in the town report, but it was not budgeted. The select board did not include an amount a budget amount for those expenditures in its 2013 budget. And my recollection is, when I asked that question, I was told that the voters approved an expenditure, total expenditure of up to $75,000 for the opening of the gravel pit at the previous town meeting, so that it didn't need to be included in the budget. But I don't,
At least that's an explanation.
Right, we were going to
Yeah.
be borrowing the money is what we thought, so we didn't want to put it in here and have the taxes raised on that amount.
Yeah, we weren't gonna raise the taxes
Yeah.
for that money.
We were just going to be borrowing. I think was the rationale.
okay, so in that
Right,
case,
because all we would be
go
raising
back to-
taxes for was the loan payments, which were gonna
Which
be,
weren't going to start.
We're gonna have to
Right.
pay this back. I mean, if we, this $28,000 though, I mean, we have to put it in there though.
yeah, it has
Yeah.
to be,
It'd be nice to not, but
Right, it'd be nice to say we're not going to, we're gonna find it somewhere else, but you can't do that. We
Right,
have to
right.
put the 28,000 in,
yes.
28,506.
506, right.
And whatever those numbers end up being, they better be $75,000
It is.
or less.
It is, I mean,
Yeah.
this is
Those three are,
75,000.
yeah. Yeah, I guess it is just.
Although-
isn't it?
I mean, to throw a wrench into the works, this is, the $26,620 is what we've spent year to date on the gravel pit opening expense. Now, between now and June 30th, that number most likely will change.
Right, and so that 28,506 would go down, right?
Yeah. So I don't know how you do that then.
almost certainly that money will all be spent by then, and if there's anything that, it'll be a whole new scenario by the time this fiscal year comes around, if because we'll have that pit open by July 1st.
So then maybe you should anticipate that we're going to have to take out or open the line of credit and put the $15,000 like we did for this current fiscal year under gravel pit loan and take out the 28,506.
I think that's the way to do it.
Aha.
Because what we asked for permission was to borrow $75,000 to open the gravel pit, which implies that that's permission to spend the money. So,
And we're gonna have the money spent before July.
Right.
July, that's how,
Right.
so this 28,000 is actually already spent for this year's budget. Will be, correct. And so then that 15,000 will be the line of credit
right.
that we need to take out.
So the 15,000 that we didn't spend in this fiscal year was actually spent though elsewhere. It's spread around our expenses in contract services and other wherever you accounted for
It's
this.
in the general. Well,
Where did, like when you write a check to Stevens Engineering?
it goes under gravel pit opening expense.
Cause that 15,000 hasn't been touched yet.
Right.
That hasn't been opened. We haven't opened that line of credit, so that 15,000 will stay as a zero for
Unless
spent
you have
year to date, unless we have to open it before July.
Mm.
And if we've been taking everything from that 75,000,
Mhm.
then we won't. That should stay at zero. So we'll have that $15,000 as a
If necessary.
Right.
If necessary.
So yeah, I think the 28, since we didn't put anything in the budget for previous years, we just showed expense. That's how we should do it this year. Otherwise, it's going to be a bear to explain. I mean, I just understood it.
Me too.
so I do think we because we won't be spending that.
No,
for the,
put 15 in there, and
Under the gravel pit loan.
right,
the loan.
and nothing in the
Zero for the other. Okay.
opening expense. So, That just got us 13 grand back.
13,506.
13,506.
Okay. And that's just the first page, guys. Oh, did you go down through and figure out for me the pass-through money? I mean, the money that we have no control over? Remember I'd asked you to... Okay. That's just one thing that we wanted to know. The money that we have no control over. You know, like Wyndham Solid Waste. How much of a difference any of the money that...
Rescue, yes. All
Yeah.
Yeah, they all look pretty reasonable this year.
But I just want to know how much that number raised it.
That brings
Right.
it down to 5% increase.
So we're down to a 5% increase with that. So we're getting it there, Zeke. We'll be at zero pretty quick.
So, okay. So, yeah, workers' comp, that's a hard number. Public official liability.
Yeah, you can't really touch any more up there. And then you go down to administration, and that's that first page. I think is all set now.
And we did 3. What did we do?
2.5.
2.5.
Okay, town report. Let's do that first one there. Oh, the lister's wages. Remember we were confused on
Yeah. Did we get an answer from them?
that.
I don't think it really explains it in this thing here.
No, but what did we end up doing? Where we did
7 hours a week
7 hours a week
plus 50 extra hours
plus 50 extra hours for the
per person.
per person for the springtime, and that's where we came up with at their increase of pay at 2.5% of what they're making now. Raised their number of hours because we had them at 6 hours right now, I believe, and we raised them 7 hours a week, and then gave them the extra 50 hours for the time they asked that they said they were going to be busier.
50 total or 50 apiece?
A piece. And that's where we came up with the 15,595.
Okay.
And of course, they had asked for their wages to go to 17,000, but I think they were figuring on more. I think they were figuring on 80 hours extra a person.
Right, that's what I remember.
And I don't know. That's
See how it goes.
right.
And it's going to be what it is.
Right.
Yeah, because this is a significant bump on its own.
Right.
You know, it's
So that's why.
15%, something like that.
So I came up with that number there. So, we had a question mark. Okay, their travel and expenses. They just figured they're going to travel more.
$9.50
Of course, that 15,595 is actually still less than the actual for the fiscal year 2012.
It is. Which was under the budget of
20. Yeah.
Yeah, what was the reason behind that though? Was that because they had a budget of 20,000 that year?
Right.
There was something on that year.
Yeah, it wasn't a reappraisal. I don't remember what it was.
No, it wasn't a reappraisal, but there was something. That's why it was up to 20. You know, it went to 20,000 because if you look at the year before, it was only at 12,000.
Right.
And we figured something was figured in there for the.
Yeah, I don't remember what that was.
Because last year it was budgeted at 13,000. So, That's just 6 hours, but that's actually 7 hours a week on there.
Mm-hmm. It is, yeah, sorry.
So anything else?
I don't really see anything under there.
How about the planning and zoning? I know there was a few here that we actually raised ourselves,
Right.
just for having them go to different meetings and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think, and I don't think we should cut any of them back to what they asked for either, because I do think those meetings are very valuable to have these guys go to.
I agree.
Especially because you're gonna have at least one new person
Right.
on the DRB.
Okay. So,
I don't see anything there.
right, municipal building. Let's flip the page. It went down there. I mean, this is down dramatically because of that new computer that they purchased this year instead of waiting. They had the money to do it.
Yeah, that stuff's all pretty solid. I mean, it's all.
I mean, yeah, it's down over $10,000 from last year's.
Well, that's
But
also
the-
the $9,000 new roof. Isn't that included under building maintenance?
So roof, wasn't that?
That's in. That's a
capital.
capital.
Capital, you
Right,
can't
but-
do that, Lori. If you're gonna start now, you can't go back. But it was in there
It
because
wasn't
we
there
didn't.
last year.
We didn't subtract it last year. This is the first year we're not gonna take stuff from the capital budget and
Oh.
put it into here. So that was in there. Hold that one out.
Okay. Do you want to know the percentage increase for the mandated?
Oh, you did
Yes.
that already?
I did. It's 4.26% increase.
It's a 4.26% increase.
You want to know the dollar amount?
Yes.
The dollar difference?
Yes, I do. Percentages are nothing but numbers.
$3,671.
3,000?
671.
Really, that's all.
That's
That doesn't seem.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like
No.
a 4% in.
No, 4% from last year. Just the
Just the mandated ones, the BLCT, Wyndham
Yeah.
Regional,
Still doesn't say.
Wyndham Solid.
Doesn't seem.
No.
seems right to me, Laura.
$3,600.
And 71.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, because a couple things went down a little bit.
Well, we'll
I
have to
was just-
find the new goat.
Yeah, gonna jump off that one.
Okay.
Right, well, I'll do it again.
No, that's, I think you.
I'll do it again, just to
Yes.
make sure.
Well, I hope you do.
I will.
It's not the number that's seemingly, it seems like the percentages.
All right, so municipal buildings all looks pretty well
Mm-hmm.
there. Public safety. We're
Mhm.
still gonna. I got 2 question marks next to the sheriff, so we'll go back to that.
Yep.
Rescue, we can't do anything about that. Boy, that's.
We took care of the shit.
That's only
earlier.
$1,000
You said,
bucks, so
"You wanna
that's
talk
not
about it
bad."
now?" We said, yeah.
They've actually held the line pretty well in recent years.
Oh,
Did you?
I thought we were gonna go back to it, Bill.
Oh, I thought we tackled it already.
No.
No?
If we find money, I don't mind
I see.
going back to it and giving money there.
Okay.
That health officer expense, $100.
Okay. That's the new hat and the stethoscope.
When do we make
Does this rescue include the 2.5% they were arrested in?
Yes.
Okay.
That's $1,000 in itself, Lord.
I don't know, let me fix this.
Yeah, please.
Remember last time,
Yeah,
you
Yeah.
promised me you wouldn't do this to me
Godfrey,
again.
Yeah,
you know, they're
exactly.
tearing
Did too,
that
didn't I?
house
Yeah,
down.
yeah.
Okay,
The
fire.
walls are full of snake skins. On top of it. That was a year ago this week, wasn't it?
So fire department, we're going.
You know, animal control expenses, we could probably cut some money there since it's been
It's been
zero for
zero.
several years. You know, it's Wayne and me, if he puts in some mileage, you know, but we wouldn't do 250.
What do you think, 100?
Yeah, put 100 in.
Yeah.
I like that.
All right. You put that 150 up to the sheriff.
Well, forget it. Wait a minute.
Yeah, hold on. Zeke says, I'll take it now. Sorry, you got that one, Lauren?
150?
No, 100.
Oh, 100.
No, 100, we're gonna save 150. So, fire department, oh, I'm telling you, it's all gonna come out. You're gonna be saying, geez, $100 here, 150 here. Fire protection, 5,000. Insurance, there's another $2,000. Or $1,000.
That's a pass-through, so I didn't include that. Do you want me to include
Yeah, no, anything that's gonna,
that? Okay,
for our bottom line number.
okay. Oh, then it's definitely gonna be different, because I didn't do the highway, insurance.
Oh yeah, anything that
Okay.
raises this number up, because that's the end number. You don't have to do it right now. We'll be here all night. We'll be here after you'll be here after we leave. So, emergency management, that's all pass-through money. We can't
Right.
do anything there. Waste collection, that's level funded. Well, here we go again. Here's another $100, Zeke. We got
Green
these-
up?
Yeah, the green up. We got budget, 0.
Does anybody ever submit a bill for that?
Yes, yes, it's a state, it's the, green up, it's the state green up day program,
Why haven't we spent any of it though?
because we usually send it out in the spring.
Yeah, but actual 2012
Yeah,
was
yeah.
0. Actual
Should've.
spent this year was 0.
Well, this year.
That's because the spring hasn't come yet,
Yeah.
but it doesn't explain FY 12.
2012.
Right.
I don't know why it wasn't.
All right.
Are we backed up on our payments?
Yeah, really,
State?
we're not gonna get any more green
We
guns.
won't get paper bags.
And are we adding that $100 RCDC or whatever that was?
Yeah, yeah, but that's coming at the next page,
Oh,
or bottom of this page.
was that, oh, I thought that bit went here. Not in
Health
waste
and-
collection.
Health and welfare.
I think we should leave be.
What's that?
I think we should leave.
Yeah, you have to say that while the camera's on. We'll talk afterwards, Tom. How you really feel.
Really stand by the work that our social services
Yes,
committee
yes,
has
yeah.
done. I said I really stand by the work that our
No, I do. I mean, I think they did, you know, I don't always agree with this being, you know, put to the taxpayers, but the work that this committee did this year really,
yeah,
you know, I was impressed by it.
yeah.
So,
I mean, I think you know, if we're going to have this in our town budget, that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
And so
so I know I was upset.
Although a couple of things. One is we had a reasonably significant discussion about whether it's the town's responsibility. And it was laid on us that other towns contribute significantly more. We're absolutely at the bottom of the list.
mhm.
Maybe it's a legitimate discussion item for town meeting. I don't know
Oh, sure.
Well,
if the people of the town would like us to contribute more using taxpayers' money, or they'd rather do it privately.
Well,
Or
that's
not
why
at
I
all.
suggested
Yeah,
to the committee that they bring it up as a floor discussion item
yeah.
and speak and see what the town says as in preparation for next year. If there's another way they want to handle it.
Can we make sure that gets on the town meeting agenda, or no?
I think
I
it's
think it can just
I
be
think-
brought up.
yeah. I think
When
it
we-
can just
when
be
we
brought up as discussion.
Begin to
Right.
discuss this, yeah.
Set to?
You know, my mother used to always tell me though, Phil, I don't care what Joey did or Joey's doing. You're doing what I tell you you're doing. Don't worry about other people, what
It's the
they're
same
doing.
in school, unless you've
Oh,
forgotten.
Oh, trust me, I remember,
All right,
and I remember
okay.
who was telling me. So I was just wondering if you'd catch on to that too. That you know, don't worry about what they're doing. You worry about yourselves. All right, moving right along. Cemeteries. 6,000, that was to open up the,
4,000 extra to open up the
Right.
Wilder
Plus two.
Cemetery.
Yeah.
Recreation Board, we dropped them $500. Community Center, they only asked for 2,000. Okay, Library, they went from 7 to 12,000.
Yeah, that's what they were asking for. Is
Yeah.
that right?
And then, like I said, again, there's another group of people that came in, I think, with a good budget, good looking budget that, I think they actually spent some real time on and put their numbers together.
I agree. They,
I know they've got the Friends of the Library, and I'm hoping maybe that group can raise more money. I mean, hopefully they can raise more money on the side, to, for the coming years. Because it sounds like there's a good group of people getting together over, at the library to really make this library work for the town, and I think, they may raise money to take some of the burden off the taxpayers.
well, and also I
And
think
fundraisers and stuff.
they were clear that they see their endowment as, virtually gone, and that, that's been their cushion all these years, so it changes it.
Okay, so under conservation, that's where the $100
$100 would
for
go.
the,
RC,
yeah,
Let's change the Aiken
right.
Reserve to
Northern Vermont.
Northern Vermont RC.
Should we put it at 100 there?
What is,
That's what they asked for.
I see.
Well, there goes that
I've never seen a
150 we got from the
justification for that.
animal
Right.
control.
Was there a justification?
When I asked, I was told that they were involved in
Better Back Roads
lots
program,
of different
which
Oh,
we get,
programs.
we get several grants from them.
We get some good information from
Yeah,
them
we
too.
do.
I mean, they
Okay.
do send down help if we need, Lee needs somebody.
They came down and helped mediate the situation on Kipling Road.
Okay, done.
How was that? That was good.
What situation?
It's gone now though.
Now-
That stink.
Would they actually,
Involved with moving vans?
no.
Oh,
Let's see, do they advise Better Back Roads, or what is their,
Better Back Roads is under their,
it's a part of their
Yes.
organization?
Mhm.
Okay, that I didn't understand, all right.
yeah, they're very helpful.
yeah. All right, so we added the $100 there. Next page, farmland protection, we went to 2,500. Historical Society, Wyndham.
Oh, didn't we ask them to come in and,
Jack was going to come in, and then he took his, went down to Florida. And so then, I didn't get back to him. He was gonna come in tonight, but I didn't call him in time to
Yeah.
ask him before the Christmas holiday.
sure,
So
okay,
I'll have him come to the next meeting.
all right,
And he was more than willing to come.
Yep.
So yes.
So you're gonna ask him to come to the January 9th meeting?
Yes, the January 9th meeting, I'll have him come to if he can make it, or send somebody. So we got the Wyndham County Historical Society. What do we do $250 for them for?
Because they asked for it.
Do we get anything from them?
To the Historical Society?
Right.
Okay. Alright. Housing Advisory, they asked for nothing this year, they got nothing. County taxes, we lowered that. Memorial Day was the 150. I know, I'm not touching that. So Lori, do we have new numbers for
The bottom.
the
Yeah.
bottom here?
Total general fund expenses, 443,454. And highway fund expenses are still 474,440. The total expenses, 917,894.
And what's that percentage?
5, I'd say. I think it's about 5, isn't it?
Yep.
5%.
Lori gave us that number half an hour ago, right on the money. I mean, right on the percentage.
So you think it's likely we'll raise that farm and protection fund if they,
They were described to us as one of the most valuable groups we have.
I think let it, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
well, I mean, what I mean is that we're committed to keeping that number on our budget, and if it gets raised from the floor, then.
Right.
Okay,
That's what I, yeah.
all right. That's what I meant, is if we were likely to change it.
Oh, right, no, I think,
Okay. Well, I think we're pretty close to, now if we were to add that $2,400 additional dollars for the sheriffs, right, that would take it up to 12. What would our percentage then be?
What are we adding?
and we also still have to go figure out the capital budget. That's gonna be another $10,000.
$100 would be adding.
That's gonna be, you know, if we're talking doing that $10,000, that's gonna increase the amount to be raised for taxes
Right.
on top of that. So I mean, they brought that right back up to 6%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's another.
5.23% increase.
And if we add 10,000 in the capital budget, that's another 1%, I guess, basically overall. So, as far as taxes
Right,
raised, so
6 1/4.
I think that's. I mean, I think that's a comfort zone in terms of, you know, if we're gonna. We knew we were going to have an increase this year. I think that's, you know, that's one I think that we can justify. I don't see anything in this budget as we just went through it that is unneeded.
So before you're not going to go down this name.
Oh, no, we can't.
Because I want to go back through the salaries and the FICA and the retirement one more time and make
Mhm.
sure that those are right.
Right. Well, we have to wait till this bid thing goes through the highway
Oh, right.
department.
Right, we have to wait for that because, I mean, this all is contingent on what the bids come in at,
Right.
you know, which way we're gonna go there,
Hmm.
so.
But
Other
So-
than that, I think we're,
pretty well settled, I
Right.
think, and as far as line by line goes, and I do support adding $10,000 to, you know, to each year on the capital plan,
Which I did. And they emailed that to you guys already.
oh, right, that's right.
and again,
Right
that's.
there.
I think there was quite a discussion when we added the 2, remember, to
Yeah, right.
play. I mean, this is something that people pay pretty close attention to, so I think we just want to make sure between now and then that we can explain, and I know we can. If asked to do it tonight, I couldn't tell you why all of a sudden we're $80,000 in the hole. You know, 8 years out there. Is the cost of the fire truck was part of it. I think it was more money than originally thought, but we added $5,000 per year to that, right?
Right.
And I don't know if any of the other machines. That's why I want to ask Lee if any of that got changed, just so that we can, you know, say, well, this is why.
I think it did, because I think we really asked him to go, because the numbers we thought were pretty low on a lot of this equipment. And so we asked him to get closer
Yeah.
numbers to,
Well, I'm still concerned about that road grader number. That, I mean, that's not that far away. That's going to end up being.
200,000.
I think I'm afraid it's going to be.
Well, the one thing is the towns do get,
The other thing you want to keep in mind is that the bottom line on the capital fund is using the calculation for the adjusted for inflation at 2% line.
Mm-hmm.
It's not using the $175,000. It's using, on the last column, it's using the $205,040 in the calculation to come up with the estimated cash on hands.
Yes.
oh, it's using the 243? What's it using?
It's using this.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. So those
Oh, you don't
those
have-
prices are actually
Where's-
higher by some. I see what you're saying.
Oh, this is the old one, yeah. See,
This is the one you gave me.
I know, but I'm looking at the new one, I'm sorry.
So we don't adjust the numbers up
Using this one right
top
there.
for inflation. I see what you're saying.
Right.
It's those lowers for,
Right.
just below.
Okay. So we've we've got an extra 16,000 for the road grader by then. I see what you're saying.
That's what we're using,
Yeah,
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 that
got it.
calculation.
16 and a half, more or less.
And an extra 30,000 at the end of it all.
Right.
So yeah, all right. Now I get it.
All right, anything else anybody wants to go over?
The figures that Lee gave on, that you ran off at the beginning of the meeting, you know, if he gets the tractor, if he doesn't get the tractor, the difference in diesel fuel, the difference in repair costs, is that written out someplace, or?
He's got it, he just gave it to me tonight on the phone because
Okay,
I was asking
okay.
him about, you know, what that was going to do, and he got it out for me and, you know, read it off to me.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's like I said, he said with the tractor, with the blower,
Mhm.
it's,
Yeah, I could just
Yeah.
see it written out, you know, this.
right, this line going here.
Yeah.
We could probably get it on Friday.
Okay,
I don't anticipate being able to get much out of Lee tomorrow.
yep, fine,
I mean, in the office, I'm sure he's gonna be really busy.
yeah, sure.
But that would-
Yeah, right.
Let the record show it.
Yeah, exactly.
Why, is he drunk? Is he drunk again?
Yeah, you're right.
Oh, there we go.
Well, you know, I feel pretty good about this. I would feel confident sitting in front of town meeting without a splatter screen and introduce this budget. I'm really glad Lewis is the one who has to do it.
You notice that? He had no problem this year. Last year he was like a tight ass and he
Yeah.
wouldn't raise anything because he was doing the budget. This year,
It's so
Lewis is
much.
gonna,
It's so much easier.
Lewis is gonna
Because
present
his
his.
was level funded,
Yeah,
yours is 5.23%.
Yeah, exactly.
He's happy with that.
Yeah, no,
Well,
I just
I
know
did-
he was man enough to sell it. I, you know.
You know? Oh, I don't mind sitting right there behind you all the way. I can see the little room, the door there closing.
Well, Tom's budget wasn't how Lewis's budget.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just interrupt from time to time. You know. Well, last year when I introduced,
You all remember that?
remember the good old days?
All we had to worry about was a window.
Exactly. All right,
I
guys.
suppose that Wing might get a chance to
Get its workout time.
try out tomorrow.
Yeah, watch we'll break it. I move we adjourn.
I second that.
Good. All those in favor?
Aye.
Right.